Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will learn what a port is. Then we will do a port scanning example with Python. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel to support us and like the video. First, let's try to explain what a port is with an example. There is a house in the image. A postman comes to this house. The postman will drop the mail inside through the hole in the door. This hole in the door connects the house to the outside world. Let's call this hole a port. Thanks to the port, data from the outside world could reach the house. The same applies to computers. Now let's show this example in the computer world. There is a server and a computer in the image. The computer will send a request packet to the server. Think of the server as the house and the computer as the postman. In fact, the server is a computer that provides a service. This service can be HTTP, DNS, or FTP. For example, the computer sends a packet to the server to reach the turtlecode.com site. This packet will be sent with HTTP. Ports are specified for HTTP, DNS, or FTP services on the server. These ports are standard. For example, HTTP 80, DNS 53, and FTP work on port 20. In order to send the request packet from the computer to the server, domain transformation is first performed. Turtlecode.com internet address was converted to IP address. Destination and source port were added to this IP address. Destination port represents the relevant port of the server, and source port represents the computer port from which the server will respond. IP address and port reached the server via internet. Port 80 on the server met the request. A response was prepared by the server. The response was sent to the computer's IP address. Source port was also added to IP. The response was sent to the computer from port 63146. In short, ports are the door holes we use to communicate with computers. Now let's look at well-known ports. Ports 20 and 21 are reserved for FTP service on computers. Port 22 is reserved for SSH service. Ports 80 are reserved for HTTP and 443 are reserved for HTTPS. There are 65,535 virtual ports in total. Ports between 0 and 1023 are known as well-known ports. Ports between 1024 and 49,151 are ports reserved for applications. For example, the port reserved for Oracle database is usually 1521. Ports between 9152 and 65535 are reserved for temporary connections. All of these ports may not be open. Now let's do an example with Python. There is a program that finds the open ports between 0 and 1024 on our computer. First, I imported the socket library. I created a function. We will send three inputs to the function: host, start, and end port numbers. In summary, this function will check the sent port range one by one. If the result is 0, it will print the information that this port is open to the console. It will then close the connection. I gave this IP address for the target host. You can learn your own computer's IP address this way. I am scanning the ports between 0 and 1024. I sent the host and port range to the function. I am running the code. It will show the open ports on the console screen. We learned the concept of ports in this video. I recommend you to watch other Python tutorials.